Hey everyone, welcome back. This is He Who Knits, otherwise known as Steve, and this was Rhinebeck weekend. And actually finished up a little bit early today. Today is Sunday, second day. I went both days, and I'm currently coming to you from my lovely hotel room here in Newburgh, New York. I was not one of the people who booked a year in advance for a hotel, so I ended up staying 45 to 50 minutes away, although really not a bad drive at all. From where I'm at, I just hopped on one of the interstates nearby, and I made it up with no problem. I heard all the traffic warnings from people who have been before and things like that, but I'm an early riser. Gates open at 9 for Rhinebeck, and I left here and I got to Rhinebeck around 8. So both days I had some waiting time. The first day, Saturday, it's traditionally a busier day, so I did park and get in line. I was pretty close to the front of the line and still waited an hour, but that hour is pretty much full of just people looking at each other's stuff. Everybody's wearing a sweater or a hat or pretty much everything they've knitted all year long. And so the hour went pretty quickly. Today, I got there about the same time, but I actually stayed in my car and did some electronic stuff for a little while because traditionally Sunday is not nearly as busy, at least early on. And I found that to be true. I kept an eye on the line heading in, and I'd say I got in line about half an hour early today, and that was plenty of time. And then the gates opened, and it's kind of a cheer goes up and everybody goes in. So anyway, that was like my long preface to this whole Rhinebeck wrap up. Of course, New York State Sheep and Wool Festival, I believe, is the proper name. There's one of my pieces of official festival swag. It's hoodie. It's got a little pocket here, and it's really comfy, really warm. I wore this today. The sweater that I wore yesterday, I don't have it on video here, but if you've seen some of my other videos and if you've seen Instagram, it's that Icelandic sweater. It's mostly cream, and then it has the yoke with like black and gray. So people saw me yesterday in that, and today I just wanted to chill and relax. And so I just wore this that I got there. Also, quickly, I'll show you. And one of the things is that souvenir tent really got busy fast. And so there was a line out the door if you didn't pre-order. A lot of people pre-ordered their swag. I did not, so I was stuck kind of trying to elbow my way in there when I got there. It really wasn't too bad, but I also got this big black tote. You can see it's the same design as the hoodie, and the tote, actually they were each 40 bucks. So just to let you know there, 40 bucks each, but the tote was a lifesaver. I know that some of the vendors had bags, but I kind of liked having this. Plus, my plan this year was kind of to try to not just go crazy and buy indiscriminately. Once in a while that happens, but I tried to make sure that I had something in mind for the yarn. And also I figured if I have this, that gives me a finite amount of space to work with. And so I did. Both days I actually used this bag, and I did not overfill. Of course, now I have 2 days worth of stuff. And clearly that's not all going to fit in the bag at the same time, but who cares? That's what I wanted. Anyway, so before I get into my yarn haul, and I'm going to show you what I got this year, just I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. Again, the crowds were not overwhelming. I know some people feel that it gets really crowded and tough to maneuver. I didn't really find that. And again, I got there right when it opened. There was still a pretty healthy crowd that early. Yesterday I stayed for a large portion of the day, so I hit up, as soon as I got in, I hit up a bunch of the tent setup kind of right inside the gate that I went in. And it's a mix of yarns and crafts and books and all kinds of other stuff. And then I spent some time with the sheep and the goats and the alpacas because I can't resist. So I got to pet a bunch of those. And I'm pretty sure I found one little black sheep that I wanted to take home with me. I'd scratch its chin and then it wagged its tail. So that was kind of cool. It was like a big fluffy dog. The food, pretty typical festival food. A couple exceptions. Some of the more unique items I found here this year, they had a fried Brussels sprouts stand. And one of my favorites is always the gyro, whatever you want to call it. And I got one of those yesterday. It was delicious. Today, I actually went to the pickle stand, Eddie's Pickles. And go check that out if you're not familiar. But I got a little basket of fried pickle chips, which were delicious. And they had pickle soup, which was actually really delicious. It had potatoes and carrots in a broth. And it wasn't like sucking down a jar of pickle juice. It was actually really good. So that's my food story. Let's see, what other little bits of information do I have for you? Well, there's a place toward the one end where every once in a while you get to meet up with, I suppose, people like me who make videos. And I met up with some of my favorite people, the videos I like to watch, and they call themselves Cocktail Hour at the Coop. It's Arrow Acres Farm, and let me show you my little, there we go. I'm going to link them here if you have not watched their channel. They are absolutely delightful sisters. It's a family farm, and their vlogs, they sit down with a cocktail and they talk about yarn and crocheting and knitting and, I don't know, just have a good time. But I was lucky enough to meet them. I kind of warned them I was coming after them, and then I found them and we talked for a little bit. They actually did a little interview with me, which maybe is going to show up on their channel. We took pictures together, we talked. It was a good time. So Liz and Leanne, thank you. It was fun. It was great to meet you. Hi, if you happen to see this. If not, hi anyway. And then today, I actually ran into a woman who owns my favorite local yarn shop from back in Pennsylvania. So I'm about 2 hours and 45 minutes away from here. That was my trip to get here. And so I ran into her today. She actually heard my voice as I was talking to somebody, and she found me, and so we talked a little bit there. That is Ubiquitous in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. I'll probably also link that here again. But hi, if you're watching the video. Anyway, so nice people, really cool stuff. Everybody was walking around touching each other's materials, and just admiring everybody's work, and it was just a lot of fun. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get into my yarn haul. So I'll just go, I think I'll just break it into day by day here. And again, I actually used some self-control here, surprisingly. And there's one other one I just wanted to shout out. I didn't buy any yarn from him this time. It's called Into the World, WHIRLED, and he's got some really cool sci-fi inspired colorways, including some Doctor Who stuff. I'm a Doctor Who fan, and he had sold out of the one that I was looking for, but I'm gonna get in touch with him to get some of that. Anyway, so here's what I got. My first stop, I found these folks actually at Maryland Sheep and Wool back in the spring, and I really wanted some more. So this is Phoenix Fiber Mill, and I love their socks. So back in the spring, I bought kind of a gray pair and a blue pair, I think. And then this time I got more of a green with blue, and then this kind of red, orangey color. And They're alpaca socks, so I'll show you the label there. That's what they look like. And I love them. They're warm, they're soft, they're cozy. And so I ended up buying 2 more pairs of these. They're $35 each, so I got those. Next up, and I didn't want to go crazy on a couple of levels here. I still have yarn for sweater projects that I'm currently working on, but I kind of had the idea that I would be looking for a natural kind of chocolate brown color to work with another sweater, and I actually found one that has chocolate in the name. So this is Rose Spring Farm, and they're actually in Pennsylvania. This is 100% Shetland, and this is kind of an Aran weight, worsted weight, if I'm not mistaken here. So Chocolate Storm, there you go. Not like Chocolate Thunder, Chocolate Storm. And you can see, if you can get a look at that up close, it's just kind of the perfect brown that I was looking for. I always like to sniff the yarn. Is that weird? Tell me if you like to sniff the yarn too. The sheepier, the better for me, especially for the undyed natural stuff. Anyway, so these big hanks, about 340 yards each, for $39, not too bad. And they actually were doing buy 2, get 1 free. And I figured, well, hey, I'm gonna need a bunch for a sweater. So I got almost like an entire sheep full here. So I'm gonna get started on that. I do have plans to kind of mix in just a little bit of some kind of color into this sweater. I'm not exactly sure what design I'm gonna do either. It could actually end up being a cardigan. I don't know. But anyway, Chocolate Storm. There you go. That was my big purchase. I'm pretty sure of the whole weekend. That was my big purchase, at least money-wise. And then the last thing I bought yesterday, and I'm trying to stay away. I also have a problem if I see sock yarns that just look cool. I like to buy them. And I was trying to control that this time. I think I did an okay job, but I still ended up picking some stuff up. So this is a superwash merino, and let me see what else I can find out about it. I bought this because to me, it looked like an alien, and I hope that really bright neon green comes across. And you can see there's some other color in there as well. But there you go, Pendragon yarn. Avalon. And this is actually called Lights in the Night Forest, so maybe alien isn't too far off there. Could be alien abduction, who knows, but really soft. Not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I had to have it, so I got that. So that was day 1. And as you can see, I kind of kept it under control, and I was there a lot longer yesterday too than I was today, so you know, good on me for trying to keep things under control. Now, again, there's my bag. I just got back. I'm recording this video. I just got back to the hotel not that long ago, so I haven't even unpacked yet. But here's what I did today. So first things first, there was a vendor, and they had, I guess it was a bargain bin or an mill end type of bin. And I saw a color that intrigued me, and then I took it out into the sunlight to look at it, and it intrigued me even more. And I'm not even sure really what to call this color, but I don't know if you can see it up close. It's like a green, like an army olive green kind of thing with a little almost rose color in there, I think. And this is Peace Fleece. There's, that's where it comes from, if you can see that. This is worsted weight, 75% Navajo Rambouillet and 25% mohair, 200 yards. And I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Maybe it would make a cool sweater, and then I found a bag of it. So it's like it was calling right to me. And there were a couple of us standing around this bin just kind of diving in with both hands and grabbing. But these were on sale, and Baba's Sienna, I think, is the color here. Good to know. Baba's Sienna. Anyway, so at $8 a skein, I couldn't really pass this up, and that bag was a great deal. Let me see here. I'm gonna idea 200 yards each. So again, mixing this in with another color should be enough to get another sweater out of that. So that was my first purchase, and very cost effective, if I must say. Next up, let me show you. Oh, I got a free gift with that. I haven't even opened this yet. It's a little sack. Let's see what's in the free mystery gift here. And it looks like, it's like a little, pair of snips. And then there's something else in here too. Let's see what it is. No, it's a button. A shear. So cool. I love little thank you gifts from buying stuff. Anyway, the next thing I'll show you is, well, actually, my friend from Ubiquitous that I was talking to, that I ran into, said, hey, this other booth is having kind of a going out of business sale. Everything's 50% off. Persimmon Tree Farm. So I got over there and I looked around, and by this point it had been pretty picked through. But I saw a garment on the table and I really liked the way it knitted up. And then I found it, and let's see that. Look at that. That is like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's superwash, 100% superwash merino, 560 yards here, and it was a great price. And the thing I maybe like best about this is the name. Look at the name of that dye lot there. Piggy Toes. Piggy Toes. Don't know what it means, but I love it, so I got that. Also, I went to a booth, and let me see. Okay, here it is. Bumblebee Acres Fiber Farm. There's your tag, Bumblebee Acres. And they had different, I'm a sucker for sock yarns again, and especially when you combine it with nerdy things that I happen to like. I mentioned the Into the World has Doctor Who inspired stuff, and so they had a lot of inspired yarn collections here, Lord of the Rings and Outlander and things like that. And so I got two. The first one I got is a Stranger Things inspired yarn. Stranger Things, Netflix, sci-fi show, of course. And I couldn't help myself with this one. And this is called Hellfire Club. So if you've watched the show, you know that that's the little Dungeons and Dragons club that some of them were involved in. My boy Eddie, the Hellfire Club. So definitely the colors of that shirt that they wore, and maybe once I have this knitted up, I will show you the shirt that I own of this. Anyway, that, and then the second collection, brand new HBO show, House of the Dragon, which is kind of a Game of Thrones spinoff. And again, love Doctor Who. Matt Smith was my favorite Doctor, in case you're a nerd out there like me too. I love Matt Smith in pretty much everything I've ever seen him in, and so I got his yarn. On the show House of the Dragon, his name is Daemon Targaryen, and so this is his color. It's this white, black, and red. So got that. Again, I feel like I pretty well controlled myself with sock yarn, but I did get a couple. And the last thing I bought wasn't even a yarn at all. It was a book, and Linda Courtwright was hanging out, and she had some really cool stuff in her booth. So she's an author, and she travels extensively, and she's got this one of her books, Twisted Tales. So she had this other book that was more of a coffee table photo type of book, and that was really cool. But I like this one because there are stories from her travels. It says a memoir of earthquakes, orphans, opium, and other wild yarns from around the world. So I couldn't help myself. I am a big reader, and I love that. And lots of cool pictures in here too. I mean, you can see that. So I'm excited to start reading this as well. She was amazing. And so if you get a chance to take a look at her stuff, there she is again. I'll put that up close just for you to look at it. And so that's the last thing I bought today then. Overall, this was my very first trip ever to Rhinebeck, and I was happy. I was happy with it. I loved Maryland, and I love Rhinebeck too. And I can't necessarily say which one I loved more, although the weather here at Rhinebeck this weekend was absolutely amazing. Mid 60s by the time it warmed up in the late morning. Sunny, beautiful, and just really a great overall weekend here. And I got a chance to, on my way out today, I drove through the village of Rhinebeck, which unless you book early, you're not going to get in anywhere there, but it's cool. It looks like it's got lots of stuff to do, and bars, restaurants, that kind of thing. So anyway, go check it out. If you have not been to Rhinebeck, consider going. It's an adventure. Just make sure you work out the hotel stuff early. They give you enough warning on the dates for the next year so you can start taking a look at that. If you have been here, if you are here right now, if you saw me, any of that stuff, let me know about your Rhinebeck tales for the weekend. Tell me what you bought. I don't know, just let me know. Let me know what you thought of the whole weekend, and share our stories there. So that's it. That is my complete Rhinebeck weekend wrap up. Again, I'm going to post as much information as I can here for some of the yarns, some of the stuff that I maybe promised I was going to put links for. If I can remember, that's all going to be in here. But thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.